Morning, everybody. We're like 18 minutes late from stream, but we don't care because it's coming home, boys.
Coming home.
It's coming home.
Coming home. Hey.
Oh God.
Who would have thought it?
Who would have thunk it? Hey, honestly, it's just all a bit too much for me to handle right now. I don't even know what's going on. Do you know what I mean? But let's why don't we get straight into it, eh? It's let's just talk about it. The match review, England versus Denmark, what we saw last night. Why? Where do we start? I don't even know where to start. It's just everything, the emotion is just too high right now. Chris.
It's incredible, isn't it? Incredible.
And you know what it is as well, is that England started off pretty bright, and then obviously the whole Damsgaard like thunderbolt could have kind of killed off any momentum that England had, but we got to see a different side of England that we haven't seen throughout this tournament, because obviously we haven't conceded a goal. So when the chips are down, can they continue? I think, Southgate, they stayed calm, they didn't panic. Do you know what I mean? They didn't deviate from the game plan. It showed a confidence in themselves that, they knew they were good enough to get themselves back into the game. And less than 10 minutes later, they managed to get themselves back into it. And again, it was, I don't want to just put my Arsenal hat on, but Bukayo Saka, it's something that no other England player who's played on that right position has really done in this tournament. I was able to drive and really create space and havoc with runs in behind. And Harry Kane found him. I think it was a really professional performance from England against a very difficult Denmark side. And I think even the fact that Southgate didn't use his subs until late, I think was genius. The Danes went in early. It's almost like a pit stop is what I felt. It's like the F1. Sometimes you go in early because you think you get a bit more at it, more out of fresh tyres. But it might be better to just wait a bit, see what everyone else is doing, and then strategize your pit stop that way. And I feel like that's kind of what Southgate did with the subs. And it kind of helped us in the end. In extra time, we just looked a lot fresher.
Yeah, in hindsight, I agree. It's just I think professional performance is the right word. Apart from the Damsgaard free kick, which, let's face it, is a set piece and it can happen to any team in the world. Denmark, again, just like every other team that's played England all tournament, limited in the chances that they could create. Like the big chances that they had were all, flash shots from outside the box and little bits and bobs like that. Pickford was a bit shaky first half. Give him a couple of ins when he shouldn't have had him. But as soon as we calmed him down, and Sterling, my God, what a player! What a performance again last night. At 117 minutes, I think it was, he was running at the Danish defence and just causing them all sorts of problems at 117 minutes. That is the sort of player that you want on your team. That's the sort of player you want playing for your country. He's outstanding. I love him. Sterling, if you listen to this show ever, I love you.
Well, I think Sterling was a star man yesterday, and he's had his critics all the way through the competition. I've had a few choice words that I had to say myself. Nothing harsh, nothing like, malicious or anything like that. I just feel that there's been certain games where he hasn't done enough as a forward when we need things going forwards. And then as soon as I say that, he scores about 2-3 minutes later. So I'm trying to make it a thing. And the last couple of, for instance, I didn't cut him out yesterday, so that's probably why he didn't score.
Can I just say something? Maybe it's just people whose name begin with G. Because someone in my group chat on WhatsApp, the morning of, said Raheem Sterling should be dropped. He hasn't done enough in this tournament.
Oh, I wouldn't say dropped. Nah, I just feel that,
I was like, I can't believe you've said that. Like, that's the worst football take I think I've ever heard.
No, I don't
think you hate
dropped. I mean, like, if
you hate winning football games?
Well, I just feel like, for instance, in the first game, he scored the goal, which won us the game. Granted, that's great. I didn't feel like he did anything of interest for the other 89 minutes and 50 seconds. So, and I know alone when people were saying, when I was saying oh, Sterling, we need to like change. It's nothing to do with Sterling as a person. It's more the fact of the system needs to change. Who can we sacrifice? And in that game, I couldn't see anyone else that needed to come off, especially the fact he's playing on the left, and there was the shout for Grealish and like calling for Grealish to come on. So that was my thought process of it. But then yesterday, I went with the idea that maybe Mount should come off and Sterling should probably go in behind and get a little bit closer to Kane in order to make something happen. But who cared? It didn't matter because we won the game. But there was a few interesting takes by match officials. What brought along the first goal, I'm still quite confused as to how it was a free kick in the first place. So I don't feel like there was any contact of note to make you think, right, that's definitely a free kick, considering the way that the referee had managed the game up until that point. And then the penalty at the end. It's the build up to the penalty. There's two balls on the pitch, and people are saying, "Oh, it's not involved in play. It's not involved in play." That's irrelevant.
It's not the rules.
That is not in the laws of the game. And also to add to that, only 2 or 3 minutes later, Denmark had a throw in, and they took the throw, and there was another ball on the pitch then, and the referee stopped play. So the inconsistency there, and it's like people might go, "Oh yeah, but England won, so it doesn't matter." This is going to come back and bite us on the arse. Things like this. So we have to remember to be. We still need to remember to be football first rather than England hat on, I feel, because we don't want situations like Insigne or Immobile going down in the box in the same circumstances as Sterling did, and they win a penalty, and then we haven't really got a leg to stand on then, have we?
Well, you know what? I think, firstly, sack all the ball boys, because that shouldn't happen once, let alone twice. Sack them. They're all watching the game. You're not supposed to watch the game.
Yeah.
Secondly, Raheem Sterling dived for that penalty. Let's be real. He did. But if any of us in this room had the same opportunity, we'd do the exact same thing, as was 99.9% of professional footballers in the world. So I don't blame him. The officials should have picked up on it. I mean, there's this thing here where, people saying there was contact, therefore it's a penalty. So, yeah, but there's contact that doesn't throw you to the ground. It's a contact sport.
He was on his way down already, so you can't give a penalty for it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, for me, it was a very soft penalty. Am I going to say that, I wish the referee hadn't give it? No,
of course not.
But it was a very soft penalty. If that happened up the other end, we wouldn't hear the end of it. No. There'll be inquests and, all sorts. The referee will be getting all sorts of hate mail and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, we have to be level-headed. It was a cheap penalty that won us that game. But who cares? We won the game.
Yeah, real talk. Now, let's talk about the opposition, of course. We don't want to be subjective. We've been very open with our thoughts on the whole tournament so far, so there's no point just making it all about England and completely disrespect the opposition. And let's talk about Denmark. It's coming on. Let's talk about Denmark for a minute. Denmark, what a run that they've had to this stage of the tournament, but I feel like they let themselves down yesterday in terms of the substitutions that were made. Mikael Damsgaard has been phenomenal for them, and I think it's the third game in a row where they've taken him off after the hour mark. So I worry about his fitness levels, if I'm honest. And they also took off Dolberg. Two of their best players, two of them like the better performers in the knockout stages. What do you think the thought process was behind that?
Do you know what, lads? Do you know when you're playing Football Manager and you have a bit of a run where the fitness in your squad, you're starting players at like 80%, and then you're having to make 5 or 6 substitutes about 45 minutes in because everyone's just absolutely fucked. I feel like that's what's happened with Denmark. I think, unfortunately for them, it's been, especially for Denmark, it's been such a physically and emotionally sapping tournament for them. Because you've had the Christian Eriksen situation. They've lost 2 games and they've had to battle back from losing those 2 games to get through in the group. And they sort of rode the crest of a wave against Russia. They've battered Wales, tough game against Czech Republic. They're clinging on in the end against Czech Republic. I just think they ran out of steam. I think they ran out of steam. I don't think a normal manager makes that many changes. I even thought once he brought the next double substitution, I was like, God, he's bringing a lot of subs on. And then the only thing that I could think in my head was, they must be knackered. They must be absolutely knackered. And he must just be seeing the body language on the pitch, be like, I just can't run anymore. That's the only thing I can think. And you know what? Denmark, you said it before, the professional performance by England. I don't think Denmark were ever winning that game last night, bar another set piece or something like that. But they did tremendous to push it to extra time. They did. Yeah. They essentially won the tournament with what they managed to do.
Well, they definitely left their impression on the tournament massively. Outside of the Christian Eriksen thing, on merit, on footballing merit, they left a massive impression on the tournament, and I think they can be proud of their efforts. But they just fell short. I think, physically, mentally, I think they weren't as prepared as England, and I think they played pretty much the same starting 11 throughout the tournament. Maybe just Kasper Dolberg coming in for Yusuf Poulsen, and they've had some hard games. I think they ran out of legs, and I think the substitutes, as I said before, I think Southgate got his substitutes spot on. And I think the Danish manager, whose name I can't pronounce, was probably a little bit off with some of his substitutions. And I just want to big up Kasper Schmeichel as well, because I think sometimes he doesn't get the credit he deserves as a goalkeeper because of his dad. Do you know what I mean? But when we talk of the best goalkeepers in the Premier, we hardly ever talk about Kasper Schmeichel. He's definitely out there.
Wholeheartedly agree. And I was thinking this last night when I was like sorting bits and bobs out for this show this morning. And I was like, why doesn't he never gets mentioned. When we talk about top five, we always like shoehorn someone else in, or someone who's had a better season that season or whatever. And I'm like, nah, we need to start putting some respect on his name. We really do, on him as an individual, rather than worrying about what his pupa's doing, you know what I mean? So I agree. I thought he was phenomenal yesterday. His captain's performance. And it hurts me to say that, because I think the only bigger bugbear I have than players wearing the wrong numbers in wrong positions is the fact that goalkeepers, his goalkeepers as captains, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. But he proved me wrong a little bit yesterday. And fair play to him. But that is it this morning. Thank you very much for tuning in. As well, big up Emma Grant. Big up yourself for correctly getting us in the minute of the goal going in yesterday. So a mystery shirt will be coming out to you. Not quite sure you'll get it before the final, but but you'll have it in a few days' time, I'm sure. So, as I said, that is it. Myself, Gav Mac, Chris Combat Collins, and Devo, of course, as well over there. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care, and it's coming on.